wool? Yes sir, 3 bags full. One for the master, one for the dame, one for the little boy that lives down the lane. Baa black sheep, have you any wool? Yes sir, 3 bags full. One for the master, one for the dame, one for the little boy that lives down the lane.
Motherfuck the planet, burn it to a charcoal, living in a war zone, fill it up with bullet holes, let them have it. People going crazy over pandemics, looking at the house and sending for a stimulus, no longer independent. Golly, what happened to the country? Everything getting censored. First Amendment's now a felony. So pity these liberals, they don't know how to be civil. Labeling you a racist if you don't fuck with the sheeple.
Hey, all black sheep, have you any wool? If I sneeze, it don't mean I got corona. If I ain't wearing a mask, I don't wanna. Hey, be nice. Why the fuck you scared? Be prepared and don't wear it. Be red eyes, white skin, trying to make me think I'm that devil man again. Running all through my head. But you wanna see us die? You're part of the herd and you propagate the lies. Put the pig's head on a pike. You the lord of the flies. All black sheep, have you any wool?
You're offended? Well, I'm offended, you're offended. If I said it, then I meant it. I ain't taking shit back. I ain't living my life like the rest, and that's a fact. Son, the only type of sheep that I could be is a black one. And I don't follow any crowds, and I don't do the trends. I'm as me can be, and I don't need the crowd, please. I'ma stay me till they put me 6 deep. Cause I'd rather die a man than live like the sheep.
All black sheep, have you any wool?
Fuck the whole planet, everybody these days wants to get so offended, acting so damn triggered. All I see's a bunch of bitches really living in their feelings. If you say the wrong thing, then they label you a bigot. I really don't get it, everybody's always tripping and they begging for a handout like they scared of independence. Kissing on the ass that the government's presenting. Every sheeple is a coward too scared to have a vision.
All black sheep, have you any wool?
Why you acting like a shepherd to these people? Knowing you don't consider them as equal. But they sheeple to the people without knowing that it's evil. And the hate is just all equal. And that shit you spew is fecal, it's amazing. You can keep doing the same thing, but you never notice that the world is never changing. So you keep on waiting for the mainstream to show the next thing that you should be fucking hating.
You should never follow blindly into the abyss. Countless numbers of sheep have been slaughtered just like this. You should never follow blindly into the abyss. Countless numbers of sheep have been slaughtered just like this. You should never follow blindly into the abyss. Countless numbers of sheep have been slaughtered just like this. You should never follow blindly into the abyss. Countless numbers of sheep have been slaughtered just like this. Black sheep, have you any wool? Black sheep, have you any wool? One for the master, one for the dame, one for the little boy that lives down the lane. Black sheep, have you any wool? Yes sir, 3 bags full. One for the master, one for the dame, one for the little boy that lives down the lane.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Sheeple. Bunch of sheeple. That's a good song. Are you muted? No math required to fun into tonight's show. I like that. It's good. There you are. I can hear you now.
Sorry, one of my cables came out.
Oh, good job.
So I got to go back on the computer. Let's see.
Yeah, I actually, it looks like I might have my laptop situation figured out, so that might work good for next time.
What's that?
I said it looks like I might have my laptop situation figured out. So that might work out.
Oh, yeah. So what are we here talking about tonight, man?
Man.
Can I say this is the first official episode of Don't Get Me Started? All right, everybody. Yes. See how easy that was? Now, this is a very powerful page. I've seen the truth it brings, and I've seen damage that is done. This is a pretty controversial, touchy page, right? Like a group. I feel like it's pro-conservative.
Very.
There's memes sloshed here and there. But for the most part,
Rant.
people tune in. They seem to really respond to that. How does that make you feel?
It's all right. I mean, it's probably less than what I would expect up to this. Well, I don't know, maybe not less. It's less than what I want, but everybody wants more. But it's interesting because like every week I get people liking my page that I don't know. I don't know how they found me. They just show up. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So obviously, whatever I'm saying is resonating with some people.
Yeah, it's essentially gaining traction, right? I mean, there is some talkative subjects on there.
Yeah.
I feel like in this day and age, we're getting to the point where we're being forcefully silenced as far as the internet goes. Do you feel like if you lose freedom of speech, that's just the first step of losing it all?
Yes. Honestly, though, what will be the death knell for the First Amendment, freedom of speech, will be when and if they're able to get rid of the Second Amendment is basically our only physical form of protection to keep the First Amendment safe. If they take away everyone's guns, then they can take everything else away. So honestly, I think it starts with the Second Amendment, but it's because they want to go after the First Amendment, but they know they can't without getting rid of the Second Amendment. So that's kind of that's where my head's at on it.
Now, this is all a battle between the left and the right. I mean, it's almost like a really bad movie. And they should name the movie 2020, the year of the, blood rain?
Yeah.
Where are we headed?
Where are we headed? Sorry, I'm like doing something at the same time here. I'm so unprofessional. Where are we headed? I think right now, and this is going to be sort of a controversial thing for me to say, but I think we're in the middle right now of a cold civil war. I think that there are lines being drawn. I think that there are people picking sides, and I think that we're going to see, if something doesn't happen soon to make people more comfortable, to make people feel safe and secure, and like their ideas are being heard, regardless of what side they're on. If something doesn't happen that helps to quell that, then I think that you're going to be in the next, I don't know, soon. Soon has so many different definitions, but soon somebody's going to show up to one of these riots or even a peaceful protest. Now, I use the word peaceful protest literally. It's a peaceful protest until somebody breaks something, steals something, hurts someone.
Right, yeah.
Up to that point, it's peaceful. You can say it's peaceful, but they call every protest right now peaceful, and that's just not true. Once it stops being peaceful, it's not a protest any longer. Now it's a riot. And I think probably what's going to happen is somebody's going to show up that's on the opposite side of things, or just a crazy lunatic. They're going to show up to one of these things, and they're going to do some serious damage, and that'll ignite that powder keg and boom, all. So it's unfortunate.
I think they're starting to get really like aggressive, and that's when the danger starts, right? I mean, yes, you have a right to protest, you have a right to gather, but I think there's appropriate avenues of taking to get that done legally and safely, right?
Absolutely. And that's another thing that people aren't really talking about is
to demonstrate. It costs money for a permit from the city. You know, you're supposed to do these things legally, and guys, the government's letting you all get away with it for free. That's on them.
The left feels
breaking the curfew.
Yeah, the left feels the same way about the whole idea of paying for a permit to protest or doing things the legal way when it comes to that. But they feel the very same way about that as they do about the whole illegal immigration or immigration argument, I should say. Is they feel like it's racist. They feel like it's wrong. They don't want you to talk about doing things legally. They want you to just do what you want to do. And that's not okay. You can't just seize these things. We have process. You may not like them, but they're in place for a reason. Because, I mean, as we've seen recently, if people don't follow the process, we're all doomed. I mean, it's the whole thing's screwed.
Yeah, there's been some really weird stuff going on with the government about the way they've been arresting these protesters. They basically just body snatch them, take them around the corner, and let them free. Like, I don't think that's right for them to complain. They're getting off easy at that point, right?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too. Part of the problem with that whole thing was everybody wanted to say that was, these were nobody knew who they were. They were secret police, and they were snatching these people and arresting them. And it's like,
yeah,
being detained. They weren't being arrested, and they weren't being detained just randomly. Like they just were driving down the street and said, "Hey, grab that guy." It's people that had already committed crimes earlier against the federal building, and they knew that, and they are allowed to pursue suspects in crimes against federal property. Trump's done a pretty good job of telling everybody that, okay, these cities don't want our help, so the only thing you can do is protect the federal property, which is the courthouse. Yeah. And that's what they've done. So people have all kinds of ideas about what's right, what's wrong, and that's fine. We can have those conversations, but it's not as bad as what people are trying to make it out to be. And
yeah, I think it's just part of their ways, their mental warfare. Well, now we're getting into a digital warfare. What did you think about the president banning TikTok? Pretty much, he basically said any business that is caught doing business with them, they're going to suffer the repercussions.
Yeah, which actually
dearly.
Here's the thing is that's got kind of far-reaching repercussions. It's not just TikTok. Like there are
What's up,
other
Jade?
That are Jade. There are other businesses associated with that company, and money's not fungible, or money is fungible. I can't remember. Basically, what it means is that when you have money going into a pot somewhere, and say you have an umbrella corporation, and okay, so TikTok's owned by this umbrella corporation. Well, if TikTok's not getting the money, but it's going to another one of these companies that does business with TikTok or is under that same umbrella, then that money technically is going to TikTok. So I understand the reason for wanting to do this, and he did offer initially to give TikTok the option to sell.
But did I hear somewhere there is a bad and a good China? I mean, I know we do business with them, right?
Well, I mean, you got to look at it like this way. There's good and bad in every country. You're going to have people that are going to be for the people and people that are going to be for the money and the power.
Yeah, not wrong. Not wrong. I mean, but here's the thing is, like Hong Kong right now is going through it, and they're trying to fight their, tyrannical government of China right now. And China was supposed to stay out of Hong Kong, but they've claimed them again, like they belong to them. And, they don't, but it's,
there's so much to try to keep up with. It makes me dizzy just thinking about it.
There's a lot.
Well, the TikTok, they said that bad China was going to get a hold of that data. It's like, here you go. You're over here fucking getting people's information, as if Facebook wasn't doing that already.
Right.
Yeah, we're here now. We're clear.
There we go. Sorry.
Yeah, so much going on, so much confusion. So the elections are coming still? I mean, I guess amongst all this crap, we have to do it anyway, right?
Right.
Well, here's one of the things that's kind of creepy about this whole situation. You look at Joe Biden, right? He hasn't picked a running mate yet. Kind of odd. Normally you'd expect to see one. You can do that without having to go out into the world or wear a mask. He could do that through Facebook or Skype, or he could announce it on YouTube. There's any number of ways that they could, not only pick but announce a vice presidential, running mate for Biden, and they haven't. And the man can't.
Is that dude going senile or what?
Dude, here's the thing. it's elder abuse at this point to let this man continue to run for president. He's being handled. It's
Okay.
Well,
and that's-
do you think it's about getting his vice president in there? Sure, it doesn't matter if Biden lasts. Can they throw his VP in there in his place?
Yeah.
Which means they still get what they want because they got this guy by the sack.
Or
know?
you
Yeah,
have this guy who's senile and makes his own
Guys, I can
decisions.
guarantee I don't
Everybody
think
could be screwed.
Biden's going to win this year. I'm just going to say that out.
no, Biden,
Let's hope not.
Biden won't
When
win.
Trump wins again,
which he will.
you all are going to have to hear it again. Because let's face it, it's a sad fucking reality. It makes people mad. Trump's your president, okay?
How dare
Everybody that sat back and said, not my president. I bet they sure spent that stimulus money, though, didn't they?
Hell yeah, they weren't
Trump
giving
was your
shit.
motherfucking president then, wasn't he?
I have a theory. about the whole Trump's not my president thing. I actually, when they say that, you need to believe them. He's not their president. And the proof is
That is true.
it's simple. It's simple. These people are out there fighting against everything that America is. They say they want to fundamentally change America. They want
Yeah.
to rebuild it in their own image. That means that the country of America is not actually their country. They feel like they are foreign citizens in someone else's country. And
Yeah.
and so when they say Trump's not my president, they mean it. So they have no allegiance to the man. They have no respect for the man. You know, they don't even respect the office because they don't recognize our current form of government. So when they say Trump's not my president, that's real. He's not their president. So
Yeah.
making that argument, while we know legally speaking, while they live inside this country, he is their president, they don't accept him as president and they don't think of him as president. And when they tell you he's not their president, they mean it, and you should believe them.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
That is kind of dangerous, man.
It is because
I hate to hear those kind of words in the same sentence.
yeah.
Man.
I was actually I was going to do a podcast on that just the other day, just an audio podcast. I started talking about that. You know, they are not American. These people hate America. They hate what America stands for. I don't think they know what they want as part of the problem. You know, the New York, you know, Cuomo in New York told them, "You win. What do you want?" And they didn't. There was no answer. They're not going to be happy until all of these people are gone or dead. And then they can do whatever it is they think they're going to do. But honestly, I want to know who's pulling the strings because these people have too much funding. They have too many resources in a time when nobody's working. You know, at least none of these people are working. So where's all the money coming from for all of their resources?
Right.
The bottles of water and the cans of beans and the rocks and the face shields and the umbrellas and all these other things that they're bringing to these riots, because let's call a cigar a cigar. It's a riot what these people are doing. Not all. There are peaceful protests that are happening, but they're being overshadowed and they're being co-opted by these people who are not on their side. But that's the thing. Just because someone stands with you just because somebody stands by you doesn't mean they stand with you.
Or for you, or to protect you.
Yes, exactly. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, but one of the problems that we have is these peaceful protests, people who actually want to protest in the literal sense of the word, are not stopping the rioters. If they really want their message to be heard, they want to be taken seriously, they need to take a stand against these people. And if they can't stop them, then they need to separate out from that group. They need to find someone in authority and say, we are not with them. We want to peacefully protest. We're going to move. And we do not want any part of what they're doing.
Yeah. Stand
them.
for something or fall for anything.
Exactly.
I hear that a lot. I just feel like we're in very sensitive times. What you say can and will be held against you. That is a fact.
What was that?
And there's a lot of fuckery up there.
This is my leftist tears tumbler.
Nice.
It's so fun. Delicious.
Oh, man.
No, you're right. Part of the problem that we have now too is that words don't mean anything anymore. If Black Lives Matter has taught us anything, and it's sort of related, I'm not picking on Black Lives Matter specifically, but it is related to what we're talking about. Black Lives Matter has taught us this year that words don't mean what they mean anymore.
Anything.
They don't mean what they mean anymore. Words don't
Think
have
so?
the same definitions. Words mean things, right? So if someone said to you a year and a half ago, hey, Creed, do you agree that Black Lives Matter? You just said, absolutely, Black Lives Matter. Well, whose life doesn't
Yep.
matter? I don't understand what the question is. Why are you even asking me? But of course, I don't have an argument with the premise that Black Lives Matter. Of course they do. But what they've done is they've taken those 3 words, and there's an unwritten asterisk right behind the M that says Black Lives Matter. Well, the ones that are killed by police officers anyway. That's what they really mean. And I understand that they're taking
Yeah.
against,
You know, Colin Kaepernick, he was the first one to stand up, sit down, kneel. No pun intended.
Yeah. Well,
He really became the mascot for that in the beginning.
Yeah,
Somebody had to stand up and do it. It was this guy.
He was the poster child for it. And it was suggested to him by a veteran, someone that had served in the military, because he had asked them, he said he didn't want to be disrespectful or whatever. And so I think maybe Colin Kaepernick initially maybe wanted to take a more respectful approach to things. But the moment that he did that, he became a firebrand. He became sort of the poster child for a movement. And even he got sucked up into that. And now, I mean, what does he really stand for? Let's be honest. The man is out there acting like America is the worst possible place in the world, where he was raised by a rich white family, probably more privileged than any one of us in this chat. And
probably way more privileged than any of us in this chat.
Right, absolutely. And worked hard to get into the NFL. I've not taken anything away from the man's work ethic, what he did.
No, because it takes a lot to get there.
Sure it does, but
a lot of dedication, a lot of determination, a lot of hard work and time. So no, I don't knock him for that.
Not at all. Not at all. I don't knock the hustle. Never knock the hustle. But the problem is he took an opportunity. He ended up being second string. He was on the bench. He really wasn't getting the opportunities and the chances that he wanted. He was already a mediocre quarterback. He wasn't fantastic. As far as NFL standards, I mean, he could outplay anybody I know, certainly. But as far as NFL standards are concerned, he was never going to be a star quarterback. He was never going to be the guy signing $50 million contracts like Mahomes in Kansas City. So once people started offering him, endorsement deals and money to show up to places and, basically offering him the world as long as he continued to talk bad about the country that made him rich.
And I know you've heard the saying, guys. Oh, if you don't like the country, why don't you move out?
Not everybody has that ability.
Yeah. So you can't say that. Number 2, no other countries are going to let us in, right?
Right. They don't want us.
They don't want no filthy Americans. Shit, nah. They'll avoid all that altogether.
Yeah, well, of course they will. But, here's my thing. I used to, when I was younger, I kind of had that attitude of like, well, if you don't love it, leave it. If you're, welcome to America, speak English, that type of stuff. And
yeah,
well, now while I do, and that's a side note, but while I do believe, English is the official language of the United States, and if it's not, it should be. That doesn't, and it's the most popular language in the world, by the way. But aside from that fact, I work with a lot of Hispanic people, and I've been learning some Spanish. I mean, I'm not great, but I know enough to get by. And I'm realizing how difficult it is to learn another language, especially if you're trying to provide for a family and you're working 50, 60 hours a week. You don't have the time really to dedicate to that. So you're learning on the fly.
Kevin, yeah.
So if you have the willingness, I'm fine. Just come in and do what you do and just be willing to learn. And I'm willing to learn, your language as well. And we can speak a weird, messed up form of Spanglish if you want to, as long as we can communicate. I'm good. The whole idea with love it or leave it, though, the problem we have right now is there's so many people who are born in this country, some of the most privileged people in the world, don't even realize how fortunate they are. They hit the jackpot just being born in this country. And they hate it. They hate the country. They believe it's terrible. Well, my thing is, instead of going out and burning down neighborhoods, instead of going out and rioting and hurting people and trying to blind federal officers, and did you see the old ladies getting paint dumped on them? I mean, it's crazy the things that are going on right now. Instead of doing that, leave their office. If you don't like the system, change the system. Don't threaten to burn it down so that they have to build it again. Just get into politics. It may take a while. You may have to wait 3-4 generations, but that's how change happens. on a large scale, it happens slowly. But it's always slowly at first and then fast. If you have enough people that believe in what you believe in, then you should be able to get into office because there'll be the votes for you. And in that case, you can actually affect some change. But if your ideas aren't that popular, then really what are you except for a spoiled kid out on the street throwing a tantrum? And I don't have any time.
I know, right? Grown-ass adults acting like fucking children.
Kevin said,
Greatest shit ever.
Kevin said he thinks Ireland is offering asylum to Americans.
Hey, you know what? Bye. If you really go, like, I don't understand. Like, if you really want
Look, Ireland's the place to go, man. I'm just
Raising
saying,
the Cobra.
Go
What's
to
up,
Ireland.
everybody? I just read that in your voice, Cobra.
What's up, Cobra?
What? I can't see Cobra. Where's he at?
He's in the chat.
Oh, I'm in
I'm going
private.
to say hello.
Huh.
Thanks for watching. Kevon, thanks for watching.
Kevon, what's up? What's
Don't
up?
say a word. Okay.
Yeah, what's that?
Oh,
let's
good.
see.
You got somebody who's thanking you for exposing Black Bugatti. That's
Yeah, no, I didn't quite expose him. Somebody else just.
Let's touch on that a little bit. I know you want to talk about me and whatnot, but let's talk about you a little bit. You know, we're all starting something here, so it's only fair that you share some of your background too. Tell us about this Black Bugatti.
He's a Van Dweller YouTuber out there. He travels abroad.
That's a thing, like just people living in their van and doing YouTube.
Yeah,
This
they're called
guy-
Van Dwellers.
Yeah. But this guy is like a horrible exception of what you should not be.
He is entertaining, though. I will give him that. He's very entertaining.
Yeah. But that's not what you want to grow up to be like. Not at all.
I didn't make the video. It's not my property. It's not my content. I just simply.
Right, but you're helping to spread a message, obviously.
Well, not intentional, because I felt like I had started watching him around the time he got that big ass break, and something of his went viral, the Popeyes chicken video or something.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was him quitting his job at Popeyes.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That was genius.
He showed me that.
Some of the things he does can be very content genius, if I may say.
Kind of like how Trump is a troll and what he does is genius. It's also kind of asshole-ish. Yeah.
Trump is a troll. He straight up is, dude.
He is. He's a master at it. And like what kills me is
He knows.
The Dems have
He knows
no
just what to say and do. He knows what's going to get under people's skin.
Yes, he does. But he's that guy. He knows what's going to upset you. So he says this thing here, and while you're mad at him for this over here, he's over here getting shit done. You know, I mean.
Yeah, do you have a beef with the whole working situation right now? Is that what I saw?
Like, you can talk, but can you walk
On your
the
Don't
walk?
Get Me
If you're
Started.
talking- Yeah.
There was a few memes shared about the unemployment line versus the now hiring.
Yeah.
Um,
I won't talk about specifically what I do because I don't want, I'm making political statements, so I don't want my company to be dragged into that. But I will say I am a supervisor for a manufacturing facility, and we have been actively looking for people to fill positions, at least a dozen positions throughout the facility for a couple of months now. Like, we've been short-staffed. And part of the problem...
Nobody wants to work,
Yeah, part of the problem we're having is twofold. One, people are making more on unemployment right now than what they were making working. So extra $600 a week has disincentivized people from actually taking a job.
Somebody said that it was like $15 an hour. No, it's like $22 an hour.
Right, because they're only talking about the
Now
$600.
$15 an hour.
They're only talking about the $600, but the $600.
They're not including the other, or the state minimum that they also get on top of the federal $600 a week.
Yeah.
No, people in Mississippi are getting almost $900 a month. It's $875 a week. I'm sorry, not a month. $875 a week is what they were getting. That's more than I make.
Yeah. There are people I know, and God.
That's how I know it's not $15 an hour, because $15 an hour wouldn't put me there, because I'm close enough to $15 an hour to know.
Yeah. Well,
it wouldn't be a $600 a week jump in my paycheck.
Here's my thing. I posted about this yesterday on a long rant post where I talked about the difference right now. right now there's the question of masks, no masks. You know, we're always having these mask debates where we're all now mask
Well,
debaters.
it's like the CDC and them, they can't make up their minds. They tell us 1 minute to wear a mask, everybody needs to wear them. I'm like, oh, well, they're not going to protect you anyways. I mean,
Right.
even on the box, it says does not protect you from getting coronavirus. It says it on the box.
I think it's more about compliance when it comes to the masks, but that's another thing. Don't get me
Who's
wrong.
going to listen and who's not? Who's going to follow and who's going to lead?
Right. Well, and who's going to be a problem? You know, they automatically. Yeah. What's weird is that when I go out in public and I peacefully protest by not wearing a mask, when they approach you, they're not approaching you from a, I really care about you and I want what's best for you position.
It's fear. It's fear-based.
And it's anger right off the bat. Hey, put your mask on. Like, excuse me, Mom, I don't know you. Don't even tell me what to do. And if you'd have stayed away from me, you wouldn't have got anywhere near my breath, the spittle that's going to come out of my mouth when I talk to you. You would have been safe from me by staying away.
Stay 6 foot back, bitch, and you won't have to worry about it. Pardon my French, but seriously, stay 6 foot back.
Well, it's been proven
with your mask on.
The virus is a human to human thing.
Absolutely.
You're not going to give a dead body corona, okay?
I already had this.
So
when you die, you automatically have corona now. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh,
we should all live in bubbles.
Who comes into? I'm not going to say where I work either. I don't disclose that information on anywhere. But at my job, we have a person who comes in who is a mortician who says straight up he's seen somebody that died of a heart attack and they labeled it COVID simply because they had it. But there was no doubt that the heart attack would have killed him regardless of whether or not. The damage was so bad that they knew that even if it wouldn't have been COVID, he still would have died at the same point in time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Other people are going in and they don't get tested, but they're getting results back that say that they are positive, but they haven't even been tested.
Yeah.
Somebody at my work knows somebody themselves that this happened to.
Yeah, well,
somebody I work with.
Yeah, there are people that are being declared as having it after they've died of like motorcycle accident. There were people that got shot and died from gunshot wounds that are now being told that it was a COVID death. I posted this.
Okay, what is it telling me when they boost the numbers? What kind of gain back do they get from that?
Well, it's because
a lot. It's money. It's all money.
Does the government give money towards it to fund this disaster?
Yes.
I think it's like $10,000 extra per patient that dies from COVID.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go, guys. Damn, that's all it took.
Yeah. So
I could be wrong. Who knows?
It's all about money. Like I said, you have
of course, everything's about money.
It's like I said before when we were talking about the other issue. You always have people that are for the people, and then you always have somebody that is all about the power and money.
Correct. Well, and here's the thing. Corrupt people always come out of tragedy richer than they went in. Now, smart people do the same thing. There were plenty of people who became millionaires during the Great Depression because they were smart about their money and they invested wisely. There were also people in power positions who had access to certain information who used that information to also make themselves rich. So one of the problems we have in this country is that we automatically assume that if someone is rich, that they somehow got that way by
easy means
one who doesn't have money.
Yeah.
And
I assume they were either born into it or they came up into it or they worked for it.
Right.
Yeah, there's got to be some kind of something around,
Here's my thing. Why do I care? I understand if someone did it corruptly, if they broke the law to get their money and their riches. I don't want that to happen. But at the same time, if I'm so concerned about that and I'm trying to cancel that person or I'm trying to make things worse for them because of that, then I'm not paper chasing myself. And I'm not really, I got to stop worrying about what other people are doing. Why am I worried about my neighbor's grass when I got weeds in my garden? I've got to worry about what's going on in my own backyard. That's how you get somewhere. Stop worrying about what other people have. This generation want to punish the people who have earned something great for themselves because they don't want to go out and do it themselves. It's a lack of work. That's what we're fighting right now.
I'm sorry. It's the people that come up and forget where they came from that piss me off. Like, don't forget, you better humble yourself because you at once were so low.
True. However, I want to put an asterisk on that and say that you don't forget where you came from, but doesn't necessarily mean that you owe something.
No, you don't owe anybody anything, but be humble.
Be humble about it. And again, remember who was there for you. Remember who stood by you. Remember who gave you a hand up. I've been on assistance before. I've never been on unemployment, but I've had food stamps in my life before. I've received assistance.
Well, heck, I get food stamps. I work full time and I still get them. I mean, I need them. I'm do it the legal way, but
right. Well, my thing is this: I am all for hand ups, not handouts. I want people to use these programs for what they were intended for. You know, there are people who've made entire lifestyles and livings now off of government assistance.
Right.
Yeah, multi-generational, where you've got mothers and fathers that are teaching their children how to work the system, and that becomes their job, making sure
instead of teaching them how to get it on their own.
Yeah, right. Well, and you know that goes to other. I mean, we could go a million different directions with this, but kind of back to what we were talking about before. Right now, the big thing when it comes to the job situation is that we're fighting against lazy people, essentially. Okay, I am considered an essential worker, but
That's what it is, huh?
That's no lie.
I want something that I've earned for myself. People are treating this, they're going, well, I was making $25 an hour doing blah, 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 but I can't anymore. I'm not going to just go and take some job flipping burgers. Like, why? Why? What makes you too good to do that? Oh, because it's only $12 an hour? Well, at least you could say you earned that money.
12 an hour? Are you kidding me? Where are you making 12 an hour to flip burgers?
Hey, McDonald's around here starts people at like 11 or $12 an hour. Walmart.
I live in the wrong state.
$12 an hour here. You know, well, and a lot of that is based on cost of living.
I think $8.50 here.
But a lot of that's based on cost of living too. So if you live in an area where it's less expensive to survive, then
it's like $800 a month to find a place around here or more. That's apartments and houses.
Yeah, around here, if you want a decent sized house, to rent anything more than a 2-bedroom house around here, you're looking at spending at least $1,000, but probably closer to $1,200 a month. So cost of living is maybe a little bit higher here, but my point is that people are doing this. I'm too good for whatever.
Yvonne, you're probably not wrong.
You know, and here's my thing: a real man will do whatever is necessary to provide for his family. And I don't like the idea of having the government in my pocket. Because if they're the ones giving me the money, then they can take it away at any time. And if they do take it away, they can make me dance for them in order to keep that money coming in. They can say, well,
like a little monkey.
You can keep this, but now you need to do this. Or you can, we'll let you keep the money, but now you've got to post XYZ on social media. I mean, I'm not saying they do that, but eventually they could take that sort of power and they could wield it to make you do what they want you to do, simply because they're your boss. They're giving you the money. Well, I want to be my own boss. I want to make the money. I want to choose who I work for. I want to earn that money myself. So for me, it's a work ethic question, no doubt. Right now,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People are scared. I get being scared, but I mean, come on, man. It's a cold on steroids. It's a coronavirus. The common cold is a coronavirus.
Yeah,
right?
people. Damn.
Again, I don't think if someone has, if they're immunocompromised, if they have underlying conditions that would make this deadly for them, I want them to be safe. I want to help take care of them. I am okay with some of my money going to take care of those people. I am about community. I love my neighbors because that's what God told me to do. And if they are unable to provide for themselves, then I want to be there to help. But I can also do that through other means. We grow a garden. You need some food. I got tomatoes. I got cucumbers. What do you need? I can feed you. I got chickens. You need eggs. We can get you some eggs.
Right. You need some oil.
I'm help in more ways than one. But if someone's unable, I get it. But if you're capable of working and you're choosing not to right now just because it's a better deal on unemployment while the rest of us continue to go to work and potentially expose ourselves, which again I'm not really scared of. but we're doing that. And our tax money and our work is helping to keep this country moving, no matter how bad it may be at the moment. We're the ones keeping this place running. And people who have decided not to work, even though they can, should be thanking us because we're keeping it going. And the money that's coming out of our pockets is paying them. But let's be honest, the amount of money that they're playing with now, we're in the trillions. We are taking money from people that haven't even been born yet.
Yeah. So keep on in here. I'm just going to interrupt for just a second, go off topic. You said something about Checkers. And Checkers is a good, they have the best fries. No, honey, Rally's has the best fries.
I thought Rally's was Checkers, though.
Is that Big Will?
I'm trying to I think it might be.
Big Wilkett?
Big Will, K-E-T.
Oh, what do they call those things?
I don't know.
Is that an Ewok? With Big Will's face on it? Nice.
Weird. I wonder who that actually is.
Yeah, so how long is this going to last? Do you predict this is going to slow down?
When's the election? November 3rd? It'll be over November 4th.
Exactly.
Now, why do you say that?
Even Dr. Fauci said it should be lightening up by then.
It won't actually be November 4th because with them pushing mail-in voting, which is, don't get me started, but
yeah,
with them pushing the whole idea of mail-in voting.
What's up, Sewer Rat?
Any place that actually allows that, the results for the election are going to come weeks after the actual day. So you're probably looking sometime in December, maybe January, before we really know who won. And at that point, a lot of people are going to question it because of the amount of time that it took and the different forms of voting. And what I don't understand.
Yes. There was something I seen somewhere about they want to force or enforce mail-in
voting.
In some
some
states,
shit.
Yeah.
Now tell me, obviously we know they can fraud that up, but
Oh yeah, easily.
does it help the scenario for the other presidential runner-up?
Not really. Because the Electoral College is who we get. The Electoral College is truly who chooses who's president. You can win the popular vote, but not win the Electoral College.
That's true. As a matter of fact, President Trump won the Electoral College, but not the popular vote. When Barack Obama won the first time around, he won the electoral, but not the popular. The second time, he won both, which was pretty amazing. But like George W. Bush, when he was president, his first election, he won the electoral, but not the popular. And there was, that started the whole, well, we need to get rid of the Electoral College. Like, no, you don't understand. Without the Electoral College, California and New York would decide who our presidents were every 4 years. They don't need any of the other states. That's why
There's
have
a lot of smaller states out there,
right,
to account for.
Yeah.
If they go through with this,
Places like Wyoming, North Dakota, Montana, people don't live there.
South Dakota, Nebraska, even. The state
Nebraska is not very populated. I've
state
been
of
up there.
Nebraska is like 2 million people, and 1 million of them live within a 50 square mile radius of each other, and the other 1 million are spread out through the rest of the state. You get past Lincoln, and it's just fields,
farmland.
Yeah, farmland, and which we need.
Where I've been over to wherever you said, but I've also been out to Endicott, and there's nothing in Endicott.
Oh my gosh, Endicott! You made it all the way out there. Yeah. No, you could fire a grenade launcher from anywhere in Endicott and probably never see a police officer.
Damn, it's like that, huh?
It's like that.
Is that country?
That's
some country, guys.
Yeah, you can't. Your neighbors are a drive away. You're not.
But great hunting. Great hunting, let me tell you.
Yeah, probably really great hunting. Good food and good people. But they're simple people. That's part of the problem too. Is like we've got this idea that now you got to be metropolitan and you got to be cultured and you got to have. You got to be from a big city and you got to appreciate all the. You got to have the art museums and all these things. And it's like those are great. But we need the people who appreciate a simpler life, because if everybody felt that way, we wouldn't have farmers. We'd starve.
Truly, like the people that I know up in Nebraska and Endicott, I worked with them whenever I worked for Halliburton years
You
and years
worked for
ago.
Halliburton? Oh, you're evil.
I did. It was like 10. It was over 10 years
The
ago.
whole Iraq-Iran debacle.
It was like 2008 was whenever I worked for them.
Wow. Even after 9/11. Wow.
After 9/11, yeah.
Man, you should be ashamed. You should be ashamed.
I joined the Marines for God's sake. And then I went to work for Halliburton. Why is that a surprise?
No, you know what? It's fine. I don't, I mean, I don't know. As far as all that stuff's concerned, like, I guess it's interesting, but I don't think it's affecting anything so much these days. So I don't worry too much about the stuff that happened 12 years ago.
Well, I was up there and I was working on the coiled tubing part of the oil field side.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they like go in and they flush it with sand and liquid nitrogen and water, and they get ready to cap it off.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Okay, what is
So,
anybody's
in the
thoughts
United
about?
States oil field.
I've been reading about this defunding the police debacle. Can we touch on that subject?
Man, it's the stupidest.
What does
thing
that mean? What are
anyone
you
could
guys going to do?
possibly
Hire flashlight cops?
Well,
Are the citizens going to stand up and do it?
We will have a V for Vendetta society if that comes to that.
Never saw the movie.
that was a great movie. You should watch it.
I know. I love it.
Perhaps I'll check it out.
It's so informative and so interesting. It just kind of brings to light shit that happens, and you're like, oh damn. Why didn't I see it that way before?
Well, part of the problem we have right now with the defund the police movement is, again, it's a perfect example of words don't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
Because when someone says defund the police department, if you take the old meaning of those words, it would mean take the money away from the police department, right? Well, now they're saying, well, it's not a full defunding of the police department. We want to change some of the funds, move them to other things. We want to reduce the funds that they're getting. And
is it about removing the specific type of control over that area from that point on?
man, I don't know. It seems to me like really all these people are concerned with is dismantling the system. Like,
yeah,
I get
what's next to come?
Right.
Really.
We don't want to completely dismantle the system. Whenever that happens, you get things like Greece and the Brexit, and you get things like China.
And then they cry and say, "Help us! We need help. You're supposed to help
and you got
us."
all these places that are communist, and everybody gets everything, and blah blah. No, that's not how this works. You still have the rich getting richer, and now everybody's poor besides them.
Yeah. Dude, getting that stimulus did not help things at all. Was it a nice little breath of fresh air? Could have been. I didn't get to spend a penny.
At work. The stimulus did help.
Idea. Get the bazookas.
Yeah. Take that stimulus and start arming yourselves.
OGs. Contact the local OGs. Don't worry, we got plenty of OGs around.
He's talking about the hood police.
No.
What I think they're really shooting for is street justice. And the problem with that idea.
Well, they've got the cop. They've got the cops in question. What else do you want?
Oh, okay, so
that's my only argument.
Okay. Hold on. Let me say.
Do I think police brutality should stop? Fuck yes. I've had cops fucking rough me up. I've been arrested. I've been to jail. You get treated like shit from the police. That's why nobody likes them. Because they treat everybody like shit. But
I've had great experiences.
I feel like we need them. They're in place for a reason.
Bad experiences with police.
Yeah. Same. But at the same time,
bad experiences with normal people? Of course you have.
Yeah.
People. There are good people, there are bad people, there are corrupt people, and there are
It's not a perfect world, people.
You know, are there too many corrupt police officers? Absolutely. One is too many, but you're not going to ever be able to avoid it 100%. I think you need a more, I'm going to be delicate about the way I say this. I don't want our police to be militarized, but I think they need more military style.
You know what I think?
It's like, fuck it. If they have to get to the militarized point, shit's got to be bad by then. I'm sorry, Jade. Go ahead.
I think police should have to pass a lie detector test like they do with everything else whenever they're hired. Did you do drugs? Have you ever done this? Are you a racist? Do you have a problem with other races? And pass it.
I think police and their training should be
Because you
under
have black,
a lot of
white,
tests,
Asian, Hispanic,
psychological,
you've got police
everything,
of all kinds.
at least years prior.
Okay, do you watch any of Joe Rogan's podcasts?
Oh
I
yeah.
do.
Okay. He had a guy named Jocko Willink on about a month ago, and they were talking about this specific topic. And I didn't watch the whole thing. I actually have it in my queue. I need to watch it. But one of the things that Jocko was talking about, because he was military, he was talking about police don't receive nearly the kind of training that they need in order to make these, to do the job that they do. They're not trained well enough on their firearms. They're not trained well enough on use of force. They're not trained nearly well enough on hand-to-hand combat, which is probably would solve 90 to 100%.
Okay, hold that. We're gonna keep that in mind, right? But do you think it takes a good cop to make a good cop? That they got to have it in their heart from the get-go.
Yes, absolutely.
Honesty, commitment,
Legit.
justice.
No. Here's the big thing. What is it called whenever you're doing the right thing without anybody looking?
That's
Integrity.
You have to have integrity if you're a police officer. You have to have it in your heart.
True. Yeah, you got to be. Yeah, I agree with that.
Here's a way that we could solve a bunch of the problems with police.
I just think there's good cops and bad cops. They may have been poorly trained, or who knows how they got in the position behind a badge. Like we never know, but things happen.
I think one of the ways that you fix things when it comes to police and you do it fairly quickly and fairly inexpensively is body cams for all police officers. No question. No question.
That is a must. I feel like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Because then your ass will act, not act up. But
Dash cams and rear dash cams in every police vehicle. I think honestly you need 360 degrees. I think, and you can do it. They make.
Oh, like one of those ones that they have at the store, and you stick it on top of the police car, and it can rotate.
Yeah, or it's got 360-degree field.
hell, let's just fly drones with cameras on them with little machine guns. That way, when they catch a bank robber, they can shoot that motherfucker on the sidewalk.
There you go. Well, okay. So, and then you put body cam on them. And if they tamper with their body cam, just like someone who wears a...
We don't want drones. That's militarized. Let me just...
Yes, we do.
We know we don't. We don't want drones.
Don't you dare walk around here with a damn Humvee next to you. But
have you seen RoboCop?
drones,
we don't want drones.
Drones are the future, I'm telling you.
No.
They are used for so much. You don't think the city's going to start implementing security drones? These things could be the size of small cars, and they could simply have them do rounds over the neighborhood via remote control with a camera. Imagine having a camera on a post, like when you drive under it, it's got you on film. But imagine a drone that can make legal, and they've got zoom, infrared, everything. They can take photos of people. Let's say there was a domestic abuse event.
Program it like the umbrella
They
company.
can keep that on file, but they can also snapshot the property. I mean, they've already got it in Google Maps, but they could really take over with some badass
we don't
spots.
want the umbrella company, okay? We don't want that kind of stuff.
Well,
Who's that, Resident Evil?
Yeah. And I don't want 24/7 surveillance of civilians, because then you treat everyone as if they are guilty of something automatically.
Yeah.
And people tend to act a little bit more guilty, and they act differently also when they know they're on camera. Like, this isn't the way that I talk when I'm talking face-to-face with somebody. It's close, but everybody's got that camera voice, camera persona. Everybody does it. It's just automatic.
Yeah.
You know that you're being...
Yeah, I hold back stuff on here that I would definitely voice my opinion on, but not like extreme. But there's some stuff I just have to be more professional about handling because it's a sensitive subject.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, there's all that. But honestly, video cameras in the police cars where you get a 360-degree field of vision, and body cams for the officers. And if they tamper with them, then they get
a charge.
Yeah.
Charge those officers.
It's destruction.
Tampering with evidence.
It's destruction. It's tampering with evidence. So you need these things. But honestly, again, just like we were just saying, if you have cameras on the civilians constantly, they're going to act differently. I want the police officers to act differently. And the way we do that is by making sure that they
like off of
being watched.
That one movie.
Can't check up on them
yeah, like, was it Predator? With a predator.
The matter at hand is show me the proof, right? Is that the era we're in? We have to be. Big Brother,
I don't know
these
what FLIR
phones.
is. I guess whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what FLIR is. Somebody enlighten me.
What?
What's that?
FLIR. What is FLIR?
Oh, I feel
Cobra.
like I've seen that somewhere.
I don't know what that is. I've never seen it.
They could watch us from the helicopter down at Rivergate. Okay. I'll have to look that up. So we just want to change the police, right? We don't want to defund them.
No, I don't
Obviously, some
fund it.
infrared.
Honestly, I think probably you need to direct a little bit more money because the training that they're going to need is going to cost money. And so instead of taking money away from them, where and again, when you do that, you disincentivize people to go into that field because it becomes a job that only the bottom of the barrel of individuals are willing to take. It becomes like, am I wrong? You take enough money where you can't pay a police officer a normal living wage or even give them the opportunity to make a decent living. And the only people that are going to be attracted to being a police officer are people who desire that power that comes with it, not to do the right thing. Because if I can't support my family I got a big family. I'm not going to say how many, but if I can't support my family,
is your state
making, I'm not going to go into that field of work. And if I don't do that, then that opens up a position for someone who's willing to do it for much less than I am. And that you get what you pay for in a lot of ways. And when it's people who are tasked with protecting the people of this country and enforcing the laws on the books, you want people that have integrity and you want people that want to do the job because it's the right thing to do and not because they want the power that comes with that. So they need training in hand-to-hand combat as far as like grappling and things like that. They need better training when it comes to their guns and
I mean, as much as I don't want the police militarized, they need military style training.
Exactly.
Yes, I was just about to mention that. Make it.
What I said. It's exactly.
Honestly, I mean, like,
make it a requirement in order to be a law officer carrying a badge and a gun. The whole shebang. You've got to have some kind of military background. You know what I mean? If you're that committed to be a cop, you should do some military time first.
I see, and I don't even know if you necessarily.
That'll weed you out whether you're going to make it or not. Honestly,
I don't know about the police academy. I don't know about the police academy, but I know that in the Marines they teach you how to take down somebody 3 times your size.
Yeah.
You don't have to kill them. You just got to take them to the ground and make sure they don't get up.
It's about leverage.
It's about leverage and how you use your force and the centrifugal motion of it.
Well, so
not military.
I think we should make it military-esque. I think it looks
without
better.
actually militarizing them.
Right. But the way that the military does things is much more structured. It's much more depth. Conflict resolution training.
Teamwork.
There you go. See, that seems like it's more
teamwork.
First thought,
team, how to think as a team, how to function as a team.
Right. How to work together as a unit. But also, you need things like these police officers need to be getting monthly psych evals, I think. I think you should.
They need to get, yes. Psych
you have an appointment.
They also need to have,
after work.
I don't know if they require it or not. Like I said, I don't know about the police academy, but they should also be required to take psychology classes.
Yes, which it kind of plays into the whole conflict resolution because that is psychology. So
medical. Yeah. Basic medical.
Right. And how to deal with people with depression, how to deal with people who have anxiety, how to deal with suicidal individuals, how to deal with people who are bipolar or schizophrenic and may not you may not be able to reason
autism.
How do you deal with autism? Again, how do you recognize a person with autism? And because it's not always there's some people that are autistic and no one can tell just by looking at them or interacting.
Right.
It's on a different level, but it does affect certain things and you need to be able to recognize those things. So you're right.
Yeah, if you take a psychology class and you do like child psychology and adult psychology, because I've had child psychology and Psych 1 and Psych 2.
Yeah.
So whenever they lay it out in front of you, they teach you what you can use to recognize certain symptoms of different things on a different level as far as behavior goes.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but they need all of those things, and that's gonna cost some money. But the quality of policing that you would get if we actually implemented all of those things, the people that you would be dealing with that were police officers, imagine how much better your experience would be if you had to interact with a police officer, even in a negative situation.
Yeah.
They would
Now,
have.
look, I'm not saying
But,
that
listen,
about the money part of it. I can tell you right now that the classes that they would need, based off of the classes that I've had, I would say they probably would spend $1,200 to get the training that they need for each police officer.
What about the use of deadly force? If they're not too quick to grab guns, less people die, right? In incidents, I guess. They're so quick to grab their gun. I know that's their training. And sometimes you got to do it because I've seen a couple of cop vids where the cops would have gotten killed had they not had their gun.
Yeah.
It's rushed and stabbed up and everything, right?
There are when deadly force is justified. And to be honest,
yeah, we're not talking about that.
if you were to
seriously,
you were to look at, and they keep track of these numbers, generally speaking, more than 50% of the time, so it makes a majority. Now, I'm not.
Well, look, make them go harder on the cops. Tell them, look, if you're going to use that gun, you better have a good lawyer and a good reason, because you're going to get treated just like a civil servant out here. Let me do this shit to somebody that a cop will do to a black man or something. I'd be fucking shot and killed on the spot, just like everybody else. I say they should have to take more responsibility if they're quick to grab that gun, because you've got pepper spray, you've got what are those
thanks,
fucking
Kevon. We're just real
batons,
tasers,
stun guns, the actual tasers that eject. So you've got like,
dude, they've got these things.
Cops have it too easy. Push a button, bam, bam, you're dead. They live, they don't get prosecuted. It's unfair. I think the police should be held accountable for killing these fucking people out here.
Yeah, well,
yeah, definitely.
It could happen to any of you.
There's something called qualified immunity that basically gives police officers more slack when it comes to deadly force.
You have to qualify for the immunity, though. That's
it's qualified immunity, but it's basically it gives not 100%, but it gives sort of a blanket protection to police officers, and I think we need to remove that. We need to make police officers more accountable for their actions.
Well,
citizens.
Let me say this. I do think that qualified immunity should be a thing, but I think that it should be limited.
Yeah, Kevin, if you think we're awesome, tell your friends. Share the stream.
Yeah.
Kevin's a troll. You guys ain't figured it out yet?
You don't think you think Kevin's a troll?
Kevin.
I don't think he's a troll.
You're going to need some mud, buddy.
I'm
playing, guys. I'm just bullshitting.
And we appreciate it.
Do you feel like this is going to...
No.
Do you feel like we're going to have the same year next year?
No.
2021
not at all.
Dude.
What makes you feel like that?
2021 is going to be amazing. I agree.
It's going to be, dude. I'm telling you.
So you all think this is going to be a breath of fresh air, and COVID's going to be over?
Dude, January.
Yeah.
I don't believe that shit.
January 1st, you're going to walk out your front door, and you are going to take a breath of air, and you are going to know the difference. You're going to feel it.
Look, 2020. Look,
that's what it's called. Chewing 5 gum.
Hold on. Let me tell you my story real quick.
This is chewing 5 gum.
So, talking about January 1st. Let's talk about 2020. 2020 January 1st, I got fired from a job.
Mm-hmm.
A few months later, I got a job at another place doing the same thing. I was serving tables. I ended up having COVID, break out, and business started to slow before they shut everything down.
You had COVID?
Huh?
You said you had caught COVID?
No, before COVID shut everything down.
Oh, before it actually. Okay,
before
yeah. That was back in like February, I think.
Shut everything down. March. We didn't shut down until like April or the end of March. But I had gotten the job like a week into March at the place I'm at now. So like little by little, the year started off shitty, but it's getting better. So I have no reason to believe that 2021 is not going to be awesome. And on January 1st, I'm going to walk out my front door, take a fresh breath of air, and know that it is going to be an awesome year and everything is going to be different.
I think he was being sarcastic.
Come on now.
No, he wasn't.
I wasn't being sarcastic. I was being serious. That is sincere. Listen, man, the millennium is turning 21. Come on, everybody had fun on their 21st, right?
But wait, you
That's
can't
right.
buy cigarettes until you're 21 now.
That's right.
You might as well have to be 21 before you can get laid. Guys, we're making this legal. You got to be 21 if you want to get laid.
Works for me. I have a daughter.
Well, it's 19 and for smoking. They only raised the age by 1 year here. So, Kevin, I think you're probably right that it is going to get worse before it gets better. I think probably this next 3.5 months is going to be crazy. I think it's.
Are we not in the thick of it yet already?
No. The closer we get to the election, the worse it's going to get. It's going to get worse constantly.
Release the murder hornets.
You have a media in this country that is actively trying to subvert information. They're only putting out the information that supports their narrative, and they're misinforming people. Especially, have you noticed headlines are super inflammatory, and then you read the article and you're like, wait a minute, this isn't. I mean,
this is not what I
well,
expected.
yeah. How else you think they're going to get you to read it?
Everybody gets their news from the
If
headlines.
you put the truth on the page, nobody's going to thumb through it. You know?
Right. People look at the headlines.
They'll say, "Oh, there's the answer. I don't have to look at it."
Headlines and memes, that's where people are getting their information. And that's the
Clickbait.
problem. If you actually read the articles, because I will not post an article unless I've read it. I will not.
Look, these same people are fucking eating Tide Pods, snorting condoms.
Yeah. And you expect me to take you serious? Get the fuck out of here.
Hold on. It gets even better. They
Hold
are
on, wait, you know what?
Hand sanitizer. Okay, I read the other day they were drinking hand sanitizer.
If you got to resort to doing retarded shit, this is my message to you. Read it loud and fucking clear for the motherfuckers in the back.
Well,
Right.
you know, a few years ago they were smoking bed bugs too. So I mean, you know.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Yeah.
Go inject some crocodile.
Or something, and they naturally produce high amounts.
Crocodile injection's gonna go up.
Oh.
Let's not forget injecting gasoline into our fucking.
Just do it in my toe. That way they can saw my toe off.
Gasoline and other chemicals. Let's inject that in our fucking veins.
It was like, wasn't it like gasoline and like Ajax or?
It's like match heads.
It was like
It's match heads ground up, crocodile urine, and
That's the hardest.
some well wishes.
And some alligator sperm.
Yeah, the crocodile urine was the tough one, but it takes two people to collect that. But no, here's the thing. We're living in a time again. Words don't mean anything.
Or do they?
The people.
Listen, let me pump the brakes right there.
Okay.
I come from an era. I was an '80s baby, so I grew up in the '80s and the '90s. We were taught to have thick skin. It hurt the first time growing up.
Yep.
Now I hit this pinnacle of where I've grown up and I have thick skin, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm told that's too aggressive. Words do hurt after all.
Oh, words.
Well,
We're in those times now.
Wait.
So, am I in the wrong for speaking my mind or
listen,
having an
let me say
opinion?
this. There is a time and a place to say certain things. So
I agree.
sometimes you should watch what you say, and other times you should let it go.
Right. Well, if I'm on the job, I keep my mouth shut. I don't.
You can. It's okay to speak the truth, but gently.
Well, sure, but here's the thing. Okay, so this actually kind of brings
not
us
all the time.
around to Colin Kaepernick, and when you're saying there are times when you should, maybe not say anything, or if you do, you got to be very careful, and there are times when you should just be open about what you think, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
When I'm at work, I don't talk like I do when I'm talking to you guys. I don't talk about these things. Now, there may be some discussion, but you keep it as neutral as you can, and you talk basically about the facts, things that people understand, stuff that's true. And you don't.
So you're saying we should be civil when we have different opinions about these matters?
I'm sorry.
Who would have
You have
thunk?
to talk to somebody and let them know that you understand their opinion, that you understand them without
Yeah,
without
I can
infringing on their
hear you.
rights as a human being.
Yeah, you can expect me to respect your opinion. You can't expect me to share it.
Yes.
That sounds pretty simple. I mean,
I will respect your opinion. I'm all about free speech. I will fight for your right to say what you want to say, even if it's something I don't like. As a matter of fact, the most important speech to protect, as weird as it sounds, is the stuff that they call hate speech. And the reason for that is because it is the lowest form of speech. It's down in the dirty and the gutter. But if they can take that away, if they can make it illegal to say certain things, then they can do that with any speech. Freedom of speech means all speech. All.
Yeah.
And if you start taking things away and letting them start to eat away, I mean, they're shredding the Constitution as we speak, telling people you can go to a Black Lives Matter protest/riot, but you can't go to church. You know why they're not worried about opening the churches back up? It's because the churches don't pay taxes, so that the government, the local government.
No, we have churches here. No, churches
That
in the
is
South
true.
are open.
Bullshit. No.
are open.
They don't pay the taxes. They don't pay the land taxes.
My church is open. That's one I normally go to. The only reason I haven't gone is because I don't have children's church, and I am not keeping my 3-year-old and 5-year-old in there with me.
If I owned the property and I had a chapel built on, I could legally call it a church, and I would escape that shit simply because I can prove it's a gathering.
Kevon in the chat here. I don't know if it's Kevin or Kevon or for sure, but
I say Kevon.
I say Kevon, but listen. As far as he asked me, he said, as I have a question for you as a veteran. Let me say this: I'm not a veteran. Okay, I was generally under honorable conditions discharged. I'm not going to go into details, but I could go back, but I'd have to get a medical waiver. Okay, I would have to get a medical waiver to go back. So it was general under honorable. However, my opinion on the war starting with China, I don't want a war. I do not want a war. War is horrible. It takes innocent lives, and I do not want that.
Yeah, well,
if it comes down to that where we have no choice but to defend ourselves, then I agree with it. But I don't want to go to war.
I think most people don't want to go to war. I mean, I generally speaking, and here's the thing: is we have so much more in common with all the other people in this world, regardless of country, regardless of religion, regardless of everything. We have so much more in common than we do that separates or divides us. But our government, our politicians, the people in power, major corporations, and the media, they pick the things that we can get upset about being different from each other, and they highlight those, and they put a spotlight on them, and then they drive division between us, and they make these small factions of people. So you got Antifa, and you got Black Lives Matter, and you got the Boogaloo Boys.
Antifa's with the bullshit anyway.
I agree.
Those are just fucking modern day terrorists. That's all that shit is.
Okay, but
they're using the tragedies and everything as an excuse.
You got blacks.
I just saw in the chat about Antifa earlier.
Yeah,
What's that?
Yeah. Kevon, Antifa needs to chase those Tide Pods with a gallon of bleach.
That one was great.
That's what he said.
But so they're finding ways to keep us all divided because it's easier to control small groups.
It's like the Hunger Games.
If we're all together and we started uniting under the things we actually agree on and where we have similarities and work towards creating those type of changes, we would actually be able to affect those changes. But the people in power don't want that.
And there's too many people that's not going to cooperate and do the right thing morally.
Because if you lose, for some people, if they lose power, they lose everything.
True.
They cannot submit. They don't know how to submit. And it's okay to submit sometimes.
Well, here's my thing.
Whenever I say submit, I don't mean roll over and just fucking take whatever comes to you. Submission is like, okay.
What is it? Picking and choosing your battles?
Picking and choosing your battles.
Yeah, well, there's
You're not always right. You're not always right.
Right. Well, and I always listen. I know that I'm fallible. I know that I make mistakes. I know that I don't know everything, and so I know I'm not perfect, so I always hold that door open for the possibility that what I'm saying or what I think is wrong. There are a lot of people right now who don't do that. They know that they are 100% correct, and you can't tell them any different.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
These people need a dose of reality. This is what happens when you've got a generation of people who got awarded just for showing up. This is what happens when you've got a generation of people whose mom and dad didn't kick their ass out of the house when they hit 21 years old, still living in their
Hey,
basement.
Jake.
Yeah.
Let me just say this. The song Politically Incorrect seriously hits home.
Yes.
What song is that?
Every time. Tom McDonald, Politically Incorrect. My generation's afraid of opinions. Y'all so intolerant.
Yeah. Y'all could probably crash a plane and blame the road conditions.
Damn. That's pretty fucking low down, guys.
Well,
You fucking people need to get it together.
What do you mean, you people?
Hey, no, you
People
better
out
take
there
that
in
shit
the
out of
chat.
here.
The people out there in the chat.
No, I will say that
together.
emotions are running really, really high right now, and so much.
Or is that the excuse?
You know what? For some people,
it's real.
It's like an
some
extra
people,
step. You can be like, hey, I can just stand over here and I'm with this group of outward thinkers.
Fear has slowly, generation through generation, started holding the people back from their potential, their real potential, and what they're meant to be. They are so uncomfortable with themselves nowadays that they can't go out there and be who they are. They're everybody else.
Yeah. Well, there's an old saying: hard times make hard men. Hard men make good times. Good times make weak men. Weak men make hard times. And we're in sort of that weak men making hard times, and the hard times are going to make hard men. My oldest is one of the hardest people that I've ever met in my life. He's incredibly strong in his resolve. He understands who he is. He understands where he knows where he stands. He's totally against this division and all of the left-wing BS that's going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
And all the craziness. He gets it. But he's only 18.
I think my son is starting to get there, my oldest.
Yeah. So this next generation coming up, they're seeing things with this current generation, and they're going, that's stupid. What? And you've got this whole generation of people who are being raised just trolling people, and going, you know what? Words hurt. Guess what? I'm gonna punch you in the face with this meme then, because I'm tired of listening to you cry.
Yeah.
Even the media is trying to separate us using racism as their main weapon of choice. And honestly, I feel that we as Americans should come together and put an end to racism in general. I agree with that. I would on that, Kevin. Very nice comment. Very nice. You obviously are a thinker, which is good. I will say this. I think racism in general is not nearly as strong or nearly as prevalent as they want us to believe it is.
Not at all.
How much racism did you witness before that became the topic of conversation?
Let me tell you something. Like 90% of my neighbors are black, and I love every single one of them. They're all great people to live around.
Listen, I've been accused of being a racist actually very recently by someone who I thought was a good friend, and don't get me started.
Don't get me fucking started. Not on that fucking guy.
But
not at all. Don't
Motherfucker.
even fucking start.
If that's the case, I picked the wrong field because I'm in manufacturing. I work with a majority of Hispanic and black. I work around minorities. Literally, me and 2 or 3 other people in the building are white, and that's it. And I love my Hispanic workers. I love my black workers. Like, there's a sense of community there. I'll say this. Anybody who's against people from Mexico or South America in general, south of our border, coming to America, I don't understand. They don't make any sense to me because I've had a chance to work around Hispanic people. And let me tell you, they embody the founding principles of this country better than most.
Dude, they work so hard.
I know. Every Mexican I ever bumped into was pretty successful.
They want to come up in the world.
Yes, God.
Well, they've had it hard down there. They get up here and it's like easy money to them, and they're good with it,
They
man.
understand what it's like to work hard and not have anything, and now they're working hard and they're getting something.
They're reaping the rewards.
They're being smart about it.
And they're not being. Isn't it strange how people from other countries that are minorities somehow aren't affected by the systemic racism in America? Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I mean, and the reason, of course, is because the systemic racism that they're talking about does not exist, at least to the extent that they say it does. Nigerian people who come here are in some of the top earners of the people in our country. People from India,
dude,
literally,
they come over and become doctors and pharmacists. They fucking use what.
Yeah, there's like an overabundance of doctors over in India.
Yeah, well, you give them.
They come here and make the good money.
Focus on medicine. Because India focuses on healing the people instead of dividing them.
That is true. Wow.
They are families over there. You have generations that live together, and they understand the function of family, and they don't fight like we do.
Meanwhile, we're shooting each other in the fucking face out here over nothing, literally. Life has no price in America. It's the one country you can come to, be a complete nothing, and become a somebody.
I believe in God so hard, but I think Indians have it right with the Buddhism and the Hinduism. I think
so. Yeah, I agree.
As far as the beliefs and how you treat people, but I believe in God. I believe there's only one God.
Very
prosperous. Say that. So I think that I think that the Jesus that we know and the way he treated people, I think that it's been misconstrued and everybody's been going their own ways, believing what they want.
Hey, what about this one, guys? Kevon's on the screen.
Sorry.
In California, it's considered a hate crime to talk about someone's hair.
Wow.
That I can almost believe 100% because...
That's crazy. They have some wild hair out there, so I see it. They have all colors.
Well, hate crimes are charged much more heinous than like a misdemeanor.
Yes. Because,
and they're doing that for a reason.
Yeah. Oh, of course they are.
Something is up.
They're trying to force anti-racism on people. Here's my thing. I have never met anybody that's pro-racist. So I don't know why.
Well, I have. I know people, and people in my family were. And it's awful. It's horrible to be around people like that.
Okay, but you may have known some racist people, but were they trying to indoctrinate other people or recruit them to also be racist? Really?
Yes. Wow. People in my family that are no longer alive, thank God, but
that's
kind
crazy.
of. But yeah, it was horrible. Like, I didn't feel that way growing up. I always knew it was wrong, even though I was told that it was wrong. Like, I knew that what they were telling me wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew that you...
Yeah.
Because I believed in God, and I believed in the Bible, and I believe that, you know, you don't judge people based off the color of their skin. It's what's in their heart.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're all made in God's image...
Right.
Like, how am I supposed to hate somebody that's made in God's image? Like,
right.
Just like you or me.
Well, yeah. I was raised around people, not a whole lot. My parents had black friends. My parents had Asian friends. There was not really a whole lot of Hispanic friends, but of course now I'm exposed to Hispanic culture constantly at this point. And the only thing that I ever remember being a kid, when my dad had one of his black buddies was over, I asked him why his hands weren't the same color on the front and the back. Not because I thought there was something wrong with it. It was just like it was the only thing I thought to ask. Like, how come his palms don't match the rest of him? And my dad was like, that's just how it is. And I'm like, okay, that was never a problem. They never treat people of other races as if they were any different. So I didn't know any different. They were just different shades of
I mean, my kids haven't asked that yet, but if it ever comes up, that's what I'm going to tell them. That's just how they are. That's just the color of their skin. Yeah. That's just how they were made. That's how they were born.
That's how God made
them. God made them that way.
But it's okay to hate white people now, just so you know. So if you guys want to start hating white people, let's do that. Let's start a reverse Ku Klux Klan.
There are a few white people that I hate for sure.
Speaking of which, even the KKK would go get permits. Now, they were prone to coming down here, and I was like, everybody's like, don't fucking show up. You're just going to antagonize them, give them what they want. They're paying the money to come march or whatever, and it's like, really, that's really brave of them to try to do that. Seeing how it's predominantly black down here.
Yeah. Right, that's not smart.
Like, what is your little Klan rally walking around going to prove?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Do you support their right to do that?
I'm gonna tell you motherfucking no, but I mean,
I would say no too.
theoretically, government wise, we're not allowed to infringe
Is
on
it
their rights.
constitutional? Is it
Fuck, I
constitutional?
mean,
Yes. Is it constitutional? Yes. Do I support it? Do I think it's right? No.
Yeah, right.
that's the shit they need to focus on. They want to pull down statues. They want to erase history. I say focus on the assholes that are here in the now, because that's going to be the deadly tools. There's probably children to this day raised by clans.
I've never had a statue be mean to me or call me names or hold me back.
I don't think the pride part was like malicious. I think showing off these statues was just them back in the day showing what happened simply.
Right.
Nowadays, anything can be interpreted as racist or fascist or just hateful. Anything that offends your fucking orbitals, man.
Right.
Because racism isn't. It's honestly, it has to be a topical thing. I feel like
I don't think it's as wide as what
maybe it's more.
Makes it to be.
No, I don't think it is either. Here's my thing.
It's like they made a club out of it, and it's like, okay, we are our own little club. Well, okay, you're taking beliefs and repackage them and then putting them in this club situation. Like,
yeah. Well, and again,
it's not beneficial.
I don't agree with white supremacists, not at all. I think that they're some of the dumbest people that there are, and I think it's interesting that they feel themselves to be superior.
Is that the ones you would refer to as ignorant?
Definitely ignorant. Definitely ignorant.
Definitely.
Well, and some of them I think are just intentionally malicious people.
I'll be right back.
I think that there are probably racists out there who don't even really care too much about the whole racism thing, but they're just assholes. So it makes things, I don't know, they like being mean to people. But it's important that, especially in America, where if we enjoy our freedom and we want to continue to enjoy our freedom, we have to support the right of people we disagree with, especially like that, to go out and have a march and to express their beliefs, as long as they're not infringing on someone else's rights or hurting them.
That's right.
Then they should be allowed to do that. I would fight for their right to do that, but I would also vehemently disagree with them, and I would make sure it was known that I disagreed with them. But I would want them to extend me that exact same courtesy if I wanted to.
I don't agree with you, but I will definitely tell you, I will definitely stand for your right to feel the way you feel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We can't
believe the way you believe.
Right. Because we can't, if we take away someone's right to do that, even if it's someone who's a heinous individual, we do that, and then what's next? Then they go after whatever the new worst is. And then they go after whatever the new worst is after that. And eventually they'll come for, it's like that poem that somebody wrote. At first they came for the fascists, but I didn't say anything because I wasn't a fascist. And then they came for the communists, but I didn't say anything because I wasn't a communist.
Yeah.
And then they came for the Jews, and I didn't say anything because I wasn't a Jew. And then they came for me. And there was no one left to say anything.
Yeah.
You have to, it's a slippery slope. People always go, oh, you're an alarmist. That's not going to ever happen. It's happening. Look at what's going on with pedophilia. They're trying to make it normal. They're trying to say that's a sexual orientation. Are you kidding me?
Is that really real?
Right.
I didn't know if that was real or not.
It is very real.
You know, you can't believe everything you see on Facebook.
I Googled it. I started researching.
I'll tell you what, if I were on the LGBTQ, if I was one of the alphabet people, I would be really upset right now about the fact that
they are.
Now, here's another thing that I wonder about, though. God, I don't even know if I should say it. I don't understand. You know what? I'm not. We won't go there tonight. But pedophiles they are trying to attach themselves to the LGBTQ movement. They are trying to say that it is just a misunderstood sexuality, similar to the people.
No, that is fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. They're saying that they're trans.
I can understand the fucking the LGBTQ. I don't even know what it is. I'm sorry. But
So what are you saying?
I
The
can understand their feelings,
LGBTQ
okay?
stand behind that shit?
I don't stand with it. I don't agree with it, but I understand how they could feel a certain way. Because I'm gonna be honest, like I've compared myself to other girls. I don't want to sleep with them, but I've compared myself to other girls. I can understand how other girls would be attracted to another girl. I don't understand how guys are attracted to guys. No offense, men.
Isn't
But
that weird?
I
Yeah.
mean, the female body has
Girls to be able
curves.
to be
It's
attracted
a
to
beautiful
girls and guys is
face.
weird.
I can see how it could be, you know, but I mean, I could kind of, I guess, understand the men because I'm attracted to men, not women. But I mean, as far as the pedophilia stuff goes, are you fucking shitting me? It's not. There's nothing right about it. Even the Bible says, "Do not touch the innocent."
Well, yeah.
It's death for you. I mean, seriously, and it should be death for you. Children are not mature enough to make decisions. Fuck, they don't even know how to write in cursive.
The
They don't know
White
how
Panther
to-
Party? Is that real? The White Panthers?
Oh, fact check that. Are you serious?
Wow, I
You
didn't
guys
know
are
that.
free to fact check anything you want.
We don't know.
Who
Unless we
knows?
say we know.
No, I'm googling.
No.
You didn't hear that information here. Actually, here, let's look it up.
I'm looking it
Let's
up
see.
right now.
Anyway,
I feel like
yeah, pedophilia is not okay. As a victim of childhood abuse, pedophilia is not okay. I'll be honest.
No, I'm with you on that one 100%.
yeah, anti-racist.
Children don't know.
No, they don't.
Founded in 1968. That's been around a while.
1968 by Pun Plamondon, Lenny Sinclair, and John Sinclair. It was started in response
So
to
what do they do? They're anti-griefers? Is that what that is?
white people could do to support. So it was a group of it was a white group of people who came together to support the Black Panther movement. They were a white support group.
Are they still around though?
Probably.
It says founded in 1968. I didn't say anything where it said disbanded, so I would say it's probably
Disbanded.
still existent. The Black Panthers were a little bit strange to me. I haven't done a whole lot of research on it. I probably should, because I know Black Lives Matter is kind of trying to.
If they're anything like they are in the Avengers, I'm totally down.
Yeah, see, Kevin.
Man, that's terrible, dude.
That's horrible.
I'm not putting that shit up on the screen.
No. Sexual abuse is so much more common than I thought it was.
Dude, there's all kind of stories I've seen on YouTube.
What is it?
There's a guy.
Just show me later.
It's Kevin's last comment.
There was an inbreed family. There was a case of that somewhere in the Carolinas I read about. I think his name's Mark LaLate. He does these interviews on this channel called Soft White Underbelly. I highly suggest you guys check it out. He's always interviewing pimps, prostitutes, crack addicts, heroin junkies. These people have a story, guys. I don't know why he's not big yet. This dude be putting together some hardcore interviews, and
Dude, if you've ever
this is
fucking
life.
done
This is
like
real
that,
shit.
you have
Like,
some stories. I've got stories from my time. Which, by the way, guys, let me just say this on camera, and I don't even care. I am 9 years clean from heroin, so almost a decade.
congratulations. You shouldn't have been doing the fucking shit in the first place.
That's exactly right. It's the stupidest thing I ever did.
Sorry. No, you're not going to get a clap out of me over this shit.
No, that drug was
Do the right thing.
enjoyable.
Be an adult.
That drug was. I was.
Do your
young.
drugs at night. Don't make it a fucking daily habit. No,
I was
mean,
young. I was stupid. It's been. You gotta think. It's been 9 years, almost a decade ago. So yeah, don't do drugs. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah.
stories like that and shit like that, dude. Go out there and
Most
go help
people end
somebody
up
else.
fucking dead. That's how that story ends.
Yeah.
Straight
Go-
up. And I'm going to be
go
fucking
help
real as
somebody
fuck.
else get clean.
Yeah, we
Go talk
know
to
somebody that
There-
has to.
Yeah, there is no motherfucking, like that dirt ball. It was, I can see that
If you
shit
get
coming.
clean, for the
It's a
love of
constant
God,
daily
go help
struggle, is it
somebody
not?
else. Not
Look
anymore,
up,
but it
hey,
used
look
to
up
be.
YouTube's Ryan Leone. He's got some awesome
Yeah.
stories. That dude has been through the fucking ringer with heroin addiction.
Yeah, he has.
Check him out, guys. Go start at the beginning of his whole section and just go.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Don't get me started is the perfect name for this. We've been on everything. Everything.
Yeah.
Dude, You know, these are the conversations, though. These are kitchen
They're
table
real.
conversations, as they used to call them, where you'd sit around after dinner and the kids would be in bed and you'd be having a couple
Yeah.
of
The great debate.
and you'd sit around and you'd express all these ideas and you'd talk about these things, and it's a really, I don't know, it's a really good place to be. No, can't have kids under 18 on live, buddy. My youngest trying to give me a hug and check out what's going on. Sorry.
Oh shit.
That's why I
I
covered his
understand.
face. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
No, these are the conversations, man. This is where real change happens. Change happens at home. You know, one of the easiest ways that we can create change is what everybody always says, that inspirational quote, be the change you want to see in the world, right?
So
Like Michael Jackson, I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean,
I don't know if Michael really did the things he did, but
it
know.
starts with me.
Yeah, I don't know. Michael might have been a bad example. No, look.
But you gotta start with the man in the mirror. You really do.
Yeah, he should have started with the man in the mirror a lot sooner.
Yeah.
Then maybe Macaulay
Great
Culkin
song.
would
Too
be
bad he
normal.
turned bad.
Okay, your channel. Don't get me started.
Don't get me started.
Yes, tell
I'm
me about
gonna
it.
when this stream's over, I'm gonna go back and edit, and I'm gonna put the link, if you don't mind, to the channel. Don't get me started.
Yeah, do it.
Guys, sub it up if you're feeling anything you're seeing tonight. Any of the topics
Yeah.
we've talked about. If you're enjoying this, go ahead and throw a like. I usually don't care about likes, but hey, if you're feeling it, throw a like. Definitely
Well, that
throw a
would let us know
sub.
if you guys want to continue to hear what we're talking about, you know? If
Yeah.
nobody likes it, then there's no point in continuing to talk about it. But
Yeah.
you give it a like, share it, comment out
Comment.
Yeah, sure.
Tell us what you want to hear. What you want to hear views on.
If you got any questions, reach out and
What's been on your
post that
mind?
shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe we can get a hold of them, you know?
Yeah, on Facebook, it's Don't Get Me Started. The Gadsden flag is the picture that's going to come up. It's I think it's Facebook at DGMS 2020. So you should be able to find it with all that information. But yeah, we cover more conservative libertarian positions. So I haven't really considered myself a Republican for a long time because I think the Republican Party is basically.
Yeah, you know what? I really do like your definition on that. Conservative, libertarian. Yeah. Yeah, I've got some views of both.
Yeah. So it's a conservatarian, as the guy from Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk, he actually coined that term, conservatarian. But that's kind of where I'm at. I'm pro-life. I'm pro-God. I am pro-Trump. I'm not necessarily pro-Republican. I'm pro-freedom. So I always err on the side of liberty. So I would much rather. I heard it said not too long ago that it's better for.
Oh, my phone's gonna die.
It's better for 4 guilty men to
shit.
go free than for 1 innocent man to be imprisoned or something like that. It's that's kind of where I stand. I want to always err on the side of liberty and freedom for people. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. And some of it's controversial.
Yeah.
You know, some of it, not to me, but to people who read it. It's caused a lot of ire with some people recently. And it is what it is. If you disagree, go ahead and put it in the comments. I'm kind of like Joe Rogan. I may read the comments, but honestly, I don't respond a whole lot. I don't put a lot of gravity on it just because.
Yeah, I'm not even going to really pay attention to this fucking chat because these people are like the front street. I can't really take anything serious or within a grain of salt on either end of the scale, but I appreciate everybody showing up and putting in their 2 cents. Jake.
Yeah.
The Facebook page is going pretty prosperous.
Pretty good.
How do you feel about an actual channel on YouTube? Do you feel like people out there would want to tune in and see some of this stuff?
Yes, that's the plan. I'm going to start doing videos. I'm going to start doing maybe an audio podcast at some point. Come on, dude. Killing me. I'm on live here. You can't have your 18 face on live. But no, I do want to do that. I really want to have some conversations. I like what Joe Rogan does quite a bit as far as having conversations with people and not getting into arguments, but just we're going to express our ideas in sort of an open forum. I really like that format. I also like being able to talk about the things I want to talk about. And I have some really cool, very interesting friends who I think have a lot of interesting things to say. And so, yeah, I definitely plan on starting a YouTube channel. I don't know a whole lot about doing the video stuff. I don't know a whole lot about. I mean, I'm sort of technologically behind most of today's generation, but we're gonna figure it out. But I want to
Shit.
see more of this. You know, the three of us. Maybe we could bring somebody in occasionally. I mean, that'd be kind of cool. And I don't know. I think that I think right now more than ever, it's important for us to use our First Amendment to exercise our freedom of speech. I don't think that. I think that if we don't stand up for what we believe in, if we don't say the things we're actually thinking, and if we just go along to get along and we stay quiet, I think that we're going to be forgotten. We're going to be left behind, and the things that are important to us are not going to be given any sort of attention because if we're silent, I mean, silence gives consent, right? So if you don't say anything, it means that you're agreeing with what's happening.
Are you prepared for the hate mail that could possibly come your way? You've already started losing close friends over this shit.
Very close friends and business.
Is it very important that you instill this, though, if it's your life's energy?
I'll say this. I'll lose every friend that I have if that's what has to happen in order for me to express the things that I believe. Now, I hope that's not what happens. I hope that there are people that, even if they disagree with me, are still willing to stand by me and support my right to say what I believe. But I think I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. I don't kneel. I stand for what I believe in. So, you know, if I got to die on that hill, I'll die on that hill. But I don't think that that's what's going to happen. I think that I have a lot of faith in America and in the American people. And I think that the average American citizen is kind of fed up with what's going on. And I think there just aren't enough people who are speaking up. But, you know, Dan Bongino, a guy that I listen to on podcast, talks a lot about, you know, there's a video, an old viral video where this one guy in a park is dancing and just kind of looking kind of dumb, but he's dancing to some music and he's the only one. The park's full of people. And it's kind of odd and he looks like an odd man out until one person gets up and starts dancing with him. And within minutes, the entire park is dancing to this music. And it's just because that one person was willing to stand up and do it in the first place. So
wow.
Sometimes you got to be the first one. You know, you gotta raise your voice. And I'm obviously not the first one, but I'm gonna stand and dance with those that are already dancing, man.
I mean, do you want to be an American, an honest American?
I am an American. I bleed American, baby.
Listen, I feel like you're a good example of that.
You know,
you're a family man.
Yeah.
You work hard.
Yeah.
You do things for others that you didn't have to do. You weren't tasked to do. You've raised people.
Yeah.
You're not a bad guy at all.
No, I appreciate that. I think you're a fantastic guy yourself, Cree. You know, Jade, you guys have been good friends to me. I mean, that's not going to stop it. You guys have been such good friends. I can't believe we're breaking up. But, you know.
Well, I definitely appreciate your friendship, too, because, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, not going to lie, there have been some days.
Yeah, man, we like your style.
There's been some days where I've had to reach out to you, and if I wouldn't have reached out to you, I don't think that it would have been the same.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's the thing is you're born into a family, and there are relatives, there are family that you're born with, and then there's family that you get to pick. And, you know, you guys are definitely in my family, so, you know, it is what it is as far as that's concerned. We ride or die. But
right.
You know, I don't know. I think that we need a lot more of this in the world that we live in right now. Is as technology's gotten better, people have become more
stupid.
They become we become more.
No, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Their temporal lobes are not maturing and growing like they're supposed to because they're not talking.
Yeah. Well, we've never been more connected, and we've never been more disconnected.
Yeah.
We have the ability to reach out and touch anyone in the world, and we do it all from a living room where we're sitting by ourselves. You know, we don't have the interaction with people like we used to. We can hide behind an anonymous picture and say terrible, horrible things. We can pretend to be something that we're not. There's catfishing, all these different things. The internet has actually been one of the largest blessings and largest curses that humanity.
Yeah, it's a very toxic place.
It's. I'm telling you, man. And you have to ride that razor's edge because you can go one way or the other and fall over. You've got to be careful about it. And you know, one thing I did this last week, I took an entire day off of paying attention to politics and current events, and I put music on my headphones, and I listened to Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin and Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday and
what was the special occasion?
And all of these, you know, I was listening to a podcast where somebody was talking about Frank Sinatra and talking about how he just was a don't give a fuck kind of guy, excuse my language. And he would say whatever he wanted to say. He would do whatever he wanted to do, and nobody told him anything. He did what he wanted to do, and that was the kind of guy he was. And I was like, you know what? I've never really sat down and listened to his music. So I searched him on Spotify. I hit him on shuffle, and it took me down this really cool road of some older style music. And I'll tell you what, I've said for years I was born in the wrong era, and yeah. Sinatra and Dean Martin and Billie Holiday and all of those artists from that time, they're all on my list now as far as regular listening. But just taking that day off of not paying attention gave me an amazing reset. I am so much less stressed out now. I've been paying attention to politics for the past couple of days, but like 3 days ago, not at all. I just cut it out completely for a full day, and it's amazing how much clarity that you get from that.
Yeah, isn't that shit not toxic over time?
It is,
I'm getting to where I don't even want to open YouTube, Facebook, any of that shit because I'm going to see something that's just so motherfucking toxic, man. But
well, and
what can you do?
They call it programming.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and you know, this is it's on tonight's program. What are we programming? You know, so you get caught up in it. You know, there's a reason that they call Washington, D.C. the swamp. Like, just paying attention to everything that goes on there and listening to that, you feel kind of bogged down. You know, you're walking around and you got this feeling of not panic, but almost like a slight adrenaline, just sort of constantly because of all the terrible things that are going on and all the concern that you feel for it. And I'm telling you, anybody who hears this and sees this video, take a day, just one, and just
one, people, just
one, and do it once a week. I'm gonna start doing it once a week. I'm gonna pick a day every week where there's no politics, nothing, no current.
Was it nothing Tuesdays?
Yeah. And you know, and just enjoy yourself. You know, remember what it's like to sing a song. I mean, you know. Sing it off key, sing it loud, be proud about it. Who cares? Like, we are too bogged down in our day-to-day lives, and we've forgotten how to have fun, man.
Yeah.
It's time to just start having some fun again, you know? If the world falls apart, it's going to fall apart. Me, by myself, I'm not going to be able to stop.
You can't do everything.
So, like, talking about music and stuff like that, like, for example, my 5-year-old today, okay? He stops and he's like, Mom, can you put on that one song? I'm like, what one song? He's like, the summertime song. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, in the summertime when the weather is hot. So I put that song on. And out of that, like, I started listening to different music that was like in that genre. And it was just so relaxing.
It kind of took you away from everything, huh?
It took me away from everything. It was so nice. And my 5-year-old
I'm going to try that too, Jake.
Heard it, but God, my 5-year-old, it was like keen on some music, man. He's amazing. He's my kid for sure.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, I listen to music. My wife and I are different. She listens to music that reflects the mood that she's in. So if she's feeling down, she'll listen to music that's depressing. If she's feeling
that's what I do.
She'll listen to happy music. I actually listen to music to actually create a mood. So
I do that sometimes too, though.
If I'm not feeling good, I don't listen to depressing music. I'll put on some ska or some, you know, some upbeat, like, you know, 90s, you know, pop punk music that I used to listen to, and my mood lifts.
Some like NoFX or some shit.
Yeah, No Effects was great.
Pennywise.
Good Charlotte, Simple Plan,
What about Pennywise?
Millencolin, MXPX,
Yes.
Less Than
Dropkick
Jake, Real
Murphys.
Big Fish, all that stuff. But all this
I
Vanilla.
like 90s alternative.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, I love 90s.
that's
Dude,
punk and ska.
dude,
That's my shit right there.
1990 to 1999, maybe 2000, best era of music
No,
Ever.
ever.
Definitely.
I'm not-
Definitely.
I just like the 80s and the 90s, honestly. That's me.
I'm not saying that just because that was my generation. I mean, my parents
But we
thought
had
my music sucked.
choices.
and
We
their
had
parents
so
thought
many
their music
choices.
sucked.
Yeah.
So my
Hang tight.
question is music getting worse over time, or
Well, we had generational choices. We got to hear our parents' music too.
yeah, well, no, I grew up on the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Like doo-wop was one of my favorite
Yeah.
styles of music. I
And
love
then you had
doo-wop.
swing and big band music.
I see. We didn't have that growing up, but I'm into that. I like that style of music too.
Well, I was around my grandma and my great grandma a lot, and like we were third generation over here from Germany, so we listened to a lot of that kind of music, big band and swing, Frank Sinatra and Jimmy Dean James Dean, my bad, James Dean and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, and even in the 90s, I listened to country music too. And my dad told me, he's like, this kind of reminds me of, it's a very similar feel to the music I grew up with. And there's some truth to that. Like if you listen to 90s country, it does have a very similar feel to sort of like the late 60s, early 70s music. And, I think that one of the problems that we have is the music that really makes it popular in the mainstream is the stuff that talks about questionable activity. That highlights sort of the worst of us, and the stuff that's more wholesome, the country music or like the Christian contemporary style music, that type of stuff gets sort of downplayed and doesn't get a whole lot of attention. And so there's not enough positivity being reinforced through our entertainment, through our music, and through our media. And we're being programmed to essentially be miserable bastards.
Yeah, I'm totally feeling this.
Yeah, I agree. I agree for sure. Yeah, Kevin. This is
Anybody know any Otis Redding? He says.
I don't think I do, but it's not to say that I
Kevin, name
know
a song. I
knowing about it.
know the name, but I can't place any of the songs.
Name a song, buddy.
Name a song. Because I probably am into Otis.
How about When a Man Loves a Woman? No, I'm playing.
When a
It's bullshit.
Man Loves a Woman? Sam Cooke did a version of that song too.
You're gonna have everybody in the comments hating over just that little remark. No, shit. I feel like I've had a lot of fun. Jake, I'm not sure if you had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Jade, you as well. I enjoyed this. This was
good conversation,
shit.
man.
We're coming in hot on 2 hours, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and close this thing off because we gotta get back to reality, guys. There's a whole world out there.
Yes, there is.
I appreciate you coming by. Once again, everybody, if they want to catch you on Facebook, where would they go?
Don't get me started on Facebook. It's at DGMS2020. Just search it. It's that.
Everybody in the chat, go swing by and
give it a like.
check in.
Subscribe to this channel. Like the video. Comment. Share it with your friends. Get the word out.
Yeah. Please, anybody want to comment, like, subscribe, or share? Go for it.
I'd like to hear more opinions.
Crispy Brains on YouTube.
Yes, Otis Redding. Okay, I know exactly who you're talking about now, Kevin. Yes, Otis Redding is good in my book.
I don't know who that is.
Shout out to Kevan.
I'm gonna go check him out.
Shout out to Sam I Am. I know who that is. Shout out to Crazy the Cobra.
Yes.
Still rocking the Dark Hills Gang merch on the wall. You see that, guys?
Yeah.
Tonight, I want to give a thank you for the fucking track Sheeple from Amen Omen. I'm going to go back in the description and add that. And I'm going to put the one for Don't Get Me Started as well, okay? If you don't mind. Yeah. This was Don't Get Me Started episode. And I guess it's about time to tune out.
All right.
Anybody got any last words?
It's been lovely. Thank you.
Good times, guys. Thanks very much. Don't get me started.
Hey, Don't get me started.